2, 1. We've got the spinny circle. That means we're back with another Money Moves, and I am excited to be here. I don't know about you, Wendy, but I know I am.
Always.
All right. Fantastic.
Always excited.
I know, right? Hey, we're making a difference in people's lives. Hopefully people are taking advantage of this stuff. But
somebody asked me the other day, how are you doing, Wendy? Like randomly on Facebook, people do that. Yeah. And I was like, I'm amazing, as always, because I determine how my mood's going to be, right? And they were like, oh, never thought of it that way. Yeah, you get to choose.
It's all about mindset. We talked about that last week, right? Yeah. And that's one of the things, if you getting real about your money, we talked about money mindset. It's the same thing with anything. You got a choice in life, folks. You can go right or you can go left. And I'm not talking political stuff. I'm just talking about you got a choice. You know, go down this path or that path. I choose to be happy. Don't get me wrong. It's not always. I choose to get frustrated, but I'm never down for too long. But that is not what we're talking about today. There are a lot of myths about money out there. And, we're going to talk about not necessarily growing of money, but just mindset issues on money. Right. And I'm going to tell you folks, half of the struggles in life, I would say more than half, maybe, the fact checkers out there, check me. 78.9% of challenges are dealing with mindset, right? I just made that number up because 80% of statistics are made up. But we're going to be talking about the myths of money and wealth, and we're going to focus on Forum today. And actually, this was a great topic that Winnie came up with. We're going to get started here in just a second. So click that little like or subscribe, show some love, right? And share the share button and say, hey, I know you need some help on this mindset issue. So jump in. We're going to get started here in just a hot minute, and we'll get started. But first, let's go to our Roman Empire intro to this show. And I was just kidding about the Roman Empire stuff, but I keep seeing this TikTok pop up where women are asking their partners about how often do you think of the Roman Empire? So it keeps coming up, and now it's locked in my head, and I can't get it out, like that bad song from the movie Grease.
You're just like excited that you now get to voice all your thoughts about the Roman Empire instead of keeping it all to yourself.
Way to call me out. Way to call me out. But there's probably some truth in that. I'm not going to lie. But we're not talking about the Roman Empire yet. We will.
I'm sure we can work it in somewhere.
You know what? How does the Roman Empire tie to today's financial money matters? There we go. There's the topic for you. But that's not what we're talking about today, folks. Right. We're actually talking about the myths about money and wealth. And there are a lot of them out there. And it's almost like people, and not everybody. And if it's not you, I'm not talking to you. So don't start blowing me up. But it's one of those where let me justify why I'm not having success in wealth or money or accumulation of growth or whatever. So I'm going to throw these out there, and that's why it applies, because it's
it's those limiting beliefs, right? Around money. Yeah, that we just if you have these limiting beliefs in your mind, you're going to stay stuck where you are, right?
Yeah.
So, and we hear them often, and I have struggled with many of these. So I'm speaking from experience.
Own it. Own it.
Yes,
Me too.
I am.
So.
All right. So let's dig in. You want me to start, John?
Yeah. This is your topic.
All right.
This is your baby. So you're taking the lead.
All right. So how about I'm not good with money? I literally hear people say that constantly, right? Constantly. I'm not good with money.
Speaking it
Tell
into
me in the
existence.
comments. Have you ever said that yourself in the comments? Drop it below. Guilty. #guilty. I'm not good with money, right? Whether that means like I spend too much or I'm afraid to invest or whatever. But as you speak that out loud and you're saying that, you're just reinforcing the belief that you're not good with money. So it's time to change your words. And hey, we talked about this last week, but we should drop it in the show notes this week too, about your book, your ebook on those, mindset.
Yeah,
so
8 money mindset habits. So free copy for you, the viewer. as our thank you to you for showing support for your show as we creep up to 120 episodes. So
there you go. But yeah, having that mindset of I'm not good with money, like let's change the words. Let's change what you say. First thing I always say, I preach the 4 A's all the time, right? You have to be aware of what you're speaking, aware of where that comes from, and then you can adjust and take action, right? So I'm not good with money. Be aware of it, adjust your mindset around it and say, nope, that's not true. That's a lie I've told myself. So now I'm going to take action and speak truth and say, I am learning how to be great with money, right? Just that little shift. I am learning how to be great with money. And just decide if that's something you say to yourself all the time, get around people that know what they're doing when it comes to money and start to learn.
Yeah. Because, that's always, just sorry to interrupt. That's always been one of my secrets, to success is I never want to be the smartest person in the room. If you're the smartest person in the room, you're not learning anything, and it applies to money as well. So learn. Yeah, they're wealthy. Learn from them, right?
Exactly. Surround yourself with people that are going in the direction that you want to go. So another one. Have you ever heard? Money doesn't buy happiness.
I have heard that, and I've also seen the memes out there. But yeah, it's very comforting when I sit and cry in my Ferrari. Not that I have a Ferrari, but I always thought that was a funny little comeback. Money is not going to make you happy.
I actually do believe it buys happiness, not joy, but that's just me.
It can, depending on what city you're in, and well, never mind. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's not gonna buy you happiness. What it can buy you, though, memories. It can buy you memories with your family,
and that's
not that you need those. But
I mean, you do experiences, right? That's what life's about. Is enjoying it and experiencing things. And I can tell you this: the lack of money sure buys a lot of stress and a lot of sadness, because of all the people I talk to. One of the biggest stressors I ever hear in anyone's life, it's either declining health, or no money.
Yep. Well, the declining health, I mean, it can be you're not taking care of yourself, but B, you work all the time. I mean, think of how many times, my family was not wealthy growing up when I was growing up, and got to work the weekends or whatever, and so they couldn't do stuff with me. I wanted to do sports and stuff like that, couldn't afford it, and it's just it sucks, but it's the reality of it. Not that all of a sudden a big stack of cash is going to make you truly happy. It's not. I mean, I call it an amplification tool, right? It's going to amplify. If you're a good person, it's going to amplify your goodness, right? Because you're able to bless others and things. Well, I know we're going to talk about that, but if you're miserable, it's going to amplify that too. Because like Ebenezer Scrooge, right? That guy was miserable and had all the money in the little town, right? But he woke up. 3 ghosts, right? Bought that kid a turkey, Bob Cratchit, Tiny Tim, right? I mean, so it can bring happiness to others. And I don't know about you, but I love helping others and seeing them happy. I mean, it's fun to do, but it's not going to truly buy you happiness. But lack of it can definitely, like you said, cause a hell of a lot of stress.
Yeah. So. Well, I think to your point, I love what you just said. It can buy happiness for others, right? If you have a single mom who's struggling and can't afford mattresses for her kids, and somebody comes in and buys those mattresses, I'm sorry, that makes her happy, right? So it's not that money in itself, it's an intangible thing, but what it can buy for people, what it can do for people, how it can free people, that can cause more happiness. Now, I think joy is a different story. Joy you should have in the good times and the bad, and that's a gift from God is having joy. But and to your point, having those experiences, my favorite thing is to be able to go, and it doesn't have to cost a lot of money, but to have the freedom to go and do and create experiences with my kids, with the people I love, that means the world. So, all right, moving on. I shouldn't talk about money. Right? I know in my house, I remember one time I asked my dad how much money he made, and it was like, oh, how dare you ask that? We do not talk about money, right? And it was a very taboo subject. Was it like that for you growing up?
We didn't have it, so we talked about that. Wow, it sucks. We don't have money.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, I mean, it's that, I don't know if it came out of the 50s and the boomers' parents, and it just kind of procreated into the next generation, Gen X. But yeah, I mean, it's crazy if you think about it, because how are you supposed to learn about something if you don't talk about it, right? If you don't go to some kind of educational, and who better to teach you than your own parents? But here's a problem. And I talked about this, I think, in the last episode too. They don't teach this stuff in school. So how are we supposed to learn if we don't talk about it?
Exactly.
I can tell you this, wealthy people talk about it, right?
Yeah.
That's why they're wealthy, because they're brainstorming ideas on how to do it together, right?
Yeah. How to make it, what to do with it once you make it, right? How to invest, how to save on taxes. Yep. I was just at an event, maybe a month ago in Orlando, and I was surrounded by somebody that makes, several million a year, another one that makes tens of millions a year. And what was the topic of conversation? It was about all these new tax strategies they found out from the consultant.
How to keep more of your money.
And how to keep more of their money, right? And then another conversation was about increasing your income and diversifying your, strategies when it comes to making money. And so that's what wealthy people talk about. And it's the people that, we talked about this last week, right? People burying their head in the sand. They don't want to face their financial situation. So they're like, if I don't talk about it, it doesn't exist. And really, to find that financial freedom, you have to talk about money. So
yeah, you do. I mean, it's just the more you talk about it, guess what? The more comfortable you're going to get with it too.
Exactly. And, I mean, you know me, right? When you first met with me about my money, I was like, oh, I cried. I had the hardest time, and now it's an easy conversation.
Yeah, it's like anything. The more you talk about it, the more familiar you are with it, and the more you're able to learn, because you can bounce ideas off of people, and they can help you avoid pitfalls. Well, I was thinking about doing it. Well, no, I tried that, and here's what happened, blah, blah, blah. But, again, it's all about looking for additional ways to create money, to keep more of your money, protect it from market loss, taxes, things like that. And if you're not talking about it, it's not going to magically come to you one night. You're not going to listen to something on, your smartphone at night through your headset or your speakers. And all of a sudden, oh, no, I know. No, you got to talk about this stuff. So.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. And then the last one is one we all have heard people say, the misquoted Bible verse that says money is the root of all evil.
Blasphemer. Yeah, no, you're right. It cracks me up. And I've actually been in groups like that, and they threw out, well, the meek shall inherit the earth one day. And I'm like, no. I got a whole philosophy on that, which I'll talk about in a second. Yeah, that one I hear quite a bit, and I just shake my head. I'm like, man, did you miss the whole point of that verse? So
yeah. I read a book called How Heaven Invades Your Finances, and it's a pastor talking from a biblical perspective about money, and that the Bible actually says so much the opposite of we're supposed to know how to create wealth. We're supposed to know how to take care of ourselves. Listen, who better to have money than people that love the Lord and will do good things with it? You know what I mean? Instead of money in evil people's hands.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I mean, when I started my career with financial coaching, I started off with a group called Crown Financial Ministries, still in existence today. They were based out of Atlanta. Now they're based out of Knoxville, Tennessee, I believe. But crown.org, great organization. And the Bible actually talks more about money than it does love. There are over 1,100 verses in the Bible about money. And we used to go through and we would talk about that and teach how a Christian should look at money, and how anybody really, and what the biblical perspective of. And this is where I got my philosophy on it. I mean, you look at this whole money's the root of all evil. No, the love of money is totally different. That one, again, it's like, the people who want to use that paraphrase and don't, they change the whole meaning of that verse. But looking at, kind of the relationship you have with money, and the relationship, the Father, I want to get a little biblical now, but the Father has with you, we are his children. Okay. And if you have children, you're going to very easily relate to this. Do you want your children to fail in life or succeed? Succeed and succeed bountifully. And there are all kinds of lessons. One that jumps to mind is the parable of the talents, right? A master gave out, 3 different people, gave them a certain amount of money and said, go do something with this. And I'm not going to spoil the end of it, but look it up. That's what God wants for you. That's what God wants for you and your money. And the cool thing is, he only asked for 10% of it back. That's the tithe. That's Greek. It means 10. That's where you get 10%, and it's gross income for you technical people out there. First fruit. But he wants to bless you, and that's where he wants to see you win with this, and he wants you to go out and bless the kingdom and do for others. That's the whole thing. Money is not anything in and of itself. It's a piece of paper that's probably not
an inanimate object.
Yeah, it's a piece of paper. That's it. It's nothing. It's what it represents, and more importantly, it's what it can do. Just like the shovel out in the garage, I can do good with that shovel and go plant a garden to feed my family and feed my friends. Or I can go dig a hole and bash somebody in the head in it like Step Brothers. And if you haven't seen that movie, I highly recommend that movie as well. But it's a tool in how you use it.
Right.
So.
Right. And, you know, bottom line is, like you said, it's a tool. It fuels a healthy economy. It's, you know, the foundation. What does every nonprofit do on a regular basis is they fundraise, because guess what? They need money to do the work they're doing. And when we get our money right and we can give abundantly and think beyond just our four walls, we can contribute to those charitable works. And then, you know, it's there for us, for financial freedom for us and our families, so we can provide for our own needs. And so if bottom line, it makes some money, the world go around, right?
Seriously. I mean, imagine what the United States would be like if we were taught in public schools about money, how to make it, how to grow it, how to protect it, and how to use it and leverage it to help and pay it forward. It would be an amazing place. The problem is no one knows how to do it. And I'm a firm believer that that's by design. And so we come into money with a scarcity mindset, a scarcity mentality, rather than a mindset of plenty. And I'm telling you, there is plenty of money out there. I mean, look how many billions we're sending overseas, not just to Ukraine, which is, didn't get me started on that. But all these other countries, and, you know, most of them are out there spitting on us. Some of us, it's actually legit help, but and I'm not a big believer of just giving it away either. I'm all about teaching a person to fish rather than giving them the fish. Give them the fish short term if they can't help themselves, but you need to teach them how to go fish themselves, so that way they can eat for a lifetime. And money is no different. Money is no different. So,
and with that, that's all I have. So let's
mic drop. She's out. All right.
Mic drop.
So, hey, everybody, you know, again, there are a lot of myths out there, and you've got to understand what your relationship with money is. You know, number one, don't have that scarcity mindset. There's plenty out there. It's just a matter of you finding somebody who can teach you, right? That's why we do this. You know, we're not out there making money off this. We don't get the clicks and making bajillions off of, you know, all my YouTube followers.
I mean, not yet.
But I would love you to click that little subscribe button down below. And if you're not watching us on YouTube, on one of our other channels, go over to blackswanmoney.com and click that subscribe button and help us get the word out on all this stuff. Because, you know, again, it's all about the education and teaching each other how you can actually build wealth. And I joke with people, that's what I do, right? I teach people how to make more money, right? Through multiple streams, diversity, or we teach, excuse me. Number two is, you know, out there, and how do I save more of that money? And I'm not talking in the bank, but I mean saving it. And, you know, number three, how to grow more money, right? How to get your money to grow for you. And then number four, how to protect it, from market loss, how to protect it from taxation, things like that. And all, you know, legal, we're not talking shortcuts and stuff like that. It's work. But it's not that difficult if you know what to do. And that's why it's so important to do what, Wendy? Talk about money.
Talk about money.
Talk about
so that's
money.
What we're here for every week.
That's right. Every week, right? So everybody, thanks again. Wendy, great topic. You know, loved it. And again, folks, do your homework. And if there's any way we can help you out, let us know. You've got our monikers down below. Also, don't forget to get that free money mindset book. Click the link in the description and download it for yourself. Love to hear some feedback. And if you've got a topic you'd love to hear about, you know, something that ties to money or building wealth or family, you know, asset planning. I was going to say family planning, but family asset planning. Let us know. We'd be more than happy to kind of do a show for you. And we'll even mention your name in the show. But thanks again, everybody. And again, show some love. Click that share button. Click those subscribe buttons. And everybody, have a great week. We'll see you next week.